Okay, let's dive into this. We spend so much of our lives online, right? But I mean, have we ever really stopped to think about the values that are baked into the internet we use every single day? Today, we're going to explore a pretty fascinating idea for our digital world, and it's one that doesn't come from Silicon Valley or Brussels. Instead, it's rooted in a really powerful cultural concept from Southeast Asia.
So, what's the foundation for this totally different digital future? Well, it all starts with an idea that can pretty much be described as having a respectful heart.
The core concept here is Kreng. Now, it's a Thai term, and it's one of those words that's kind of tricky to translate directly into English, but it really boils down to this deep-seated consideration for other people's feelings. In Thai society, it acts as a kind of social lubricant, a way of thinking that prioritizes harmony and, crucially, avoiding making other people uncomfortable.
And this right here, this is what makes the concept just click. Kreng is that gut feeling, that little hesitation you have right before you ask a friend who's clearly exhausted to help you move apartments. Yeah, that feeling. It's all about being aware of other people and just not wanting to impose on them. A really simple but, man, a profound idea.
So, you're probably wondering, how in the world does this apply to technology and the internet? Well, to see why a new idea like this is even needed, we first have to take a quick look at the world of digital ethics as it is right now, which, let's be honest, is mostly dominated by two major approaches. So, on one side, you've got the European model. You've probably heard of GDPR, right? It's very focused on protecting individual rights through these really strict rules about how your data can be collected and used. Then, on the other side, you've got the US model, which kind of prioritizes a more hands-off, market-driven approach, where data flows more freely to try and encourage innovation. Both have their pros and cons, for sure, but they don't exactly represent the whole world's values.
And that's where this new model comes into play. It's proposing a third way, a uniquely Southeast Asian framework that offers a completely different path forward for how we govern our digital lives.
And this brings us to the central idea, the big phrase, considerate computing. It's about taking that cultural value of Kreng, that respectful heart we were just talking about, and applying it directly to how we design and manage, well, everything. From social media algorithms all the way to data privacy policies.
So here's the crucial point. How does this actually work? I mean, it's a beautiful concept, right? But how do you turn a feeling like consideration into practical, real-world policy for the digital world?
It really breaks down into three key actions. First up, considerate data use. This means finding a balance between the need for data and privacy, so data collection isn't aggressive or intrusive. Second, creating culturally aware AI. This is about building systems that actually understand local context to avoid harmful bias. Think about an AI that doesn't just assume a Western-style resume is the only valid format out there. And third, it favors a soft law approach, so using industry guidelines and ethical encouragement rather than just rigid, top-down government rules. It's more of a nudge than a shove.
This table lays it all out pretty neatly. The goal here isn't just regulation for the sake of regulation. It's to create harmony, respect, and most importantly, trust. It's about building a digital ecosystem where tech companies are actively encouraged to practice Kreng towards their users, fostering a relationship built on mutual respect, not just a fear of getting fined.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and see how this framework builds into a much, much bigger vision. Because this isn't just about a single policy, it's about weaving a whole new digital fabric for an entire region.
This represents a huge shift in thinking. The old way, which is sometimes called negative peace, was basically just about countries agreeing not to mess with each other's digital space, staying out of trouble. But the new goal is positive peace, actively building connections and what's called functional interdependence. So it's moving from simply avoiding conflict to collaboratively building a shared future.
This totally reimagines what it means to be a nation in the digital age. With this powerful idea, sovereignty isn't a wall you hide behind, but a platform you cooperate from. It suggests that having a strong national foundation is the perfect place from which to reach out and collaborate, rather than a fortress to isolate yourself in.
And to make this vision a reality, the source uses these really beautiful metaphors. The lumbung, which is like a shared rice barn, has to be filled with common digital resources and data. The grid, our digital infrastructure, has to be connected seamlessly across borders. And the weave, the social and political fabric of the region, has to be tightened through cooperation. It's really a call to collective action.
And that leaves us with this final, really thought-provoking question. In a digital world that so often feels defined by conflict, by data extraction, and by division, what if we just chose to build it on a foundation of something deeply human?
What if we built it on consideration? Definitely something to think about.